Hi, I'm David. I'm going to be playing the role as the occupational therapist.
And I'm Michael, and I will be the client.
Hi, Michael. My name is David. I'm going to be your occupational therapist.
Hello, Dave. I'm Michael. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, how I typically like my therapy sessions to run is first I like to do a little bit of an evaluation. I just ask you a few questions, and after that, we're going to get right back into the therapy process and how we can work with your injury. From what I read, your injury seems that you damaged your right rotator cuff from an injury at work.
Yeah. So I work public works, and basically all I do is I trim parks and mow parks and just make parks around my town look nice. And I was up on a ladder, and I was trying to trim the bushes way up top, and I was up and I reached with the chainsaw, and the ladder gave way, and I fell back right on my right rotator cuff. I mean, I'm lucky that I'm alive because obviously the chainsaw could have caused much more damage, but I just landed on my right shoulder, and it was just excruciating pain.
No, I understand that's an extremely scary event. That's awful. I'm glad that you're okay though.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
How long ago was that exactly?
Now it would have been probably a week and a half. Happened last Monday.
Okay. How'd you feel then? Was it pain? I'm sure it was painful for you to realize that you might have damaged something.
Oh, it was very painful. As soon as it happened, I left the ladder and everything there, and I got in my truck and I drove to the hospital because there was nobody around, and they just basically told me that they were gonna do some scans and stuff, and they didn't really help me out very much.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that again. But what's the plan moving forward? You wanted to seek therapy. You don't need any sort of surgery.
I at the hospital, once they did the scan, they discovered that I had a torn rotator cuff, and I set up an appointment for I guess surgery then, and that's a week from today.
Okay.
And that's at the University of Rochester with Dr. Nussbaum, I think his name is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I went to school with him actually.
Video.
Yeah. And typically those surgeries require about a 2 to 3 day rest time afterwards, and then if you're feeling okay after that, that's when we can start beginning some of the, occupational therapy to help you get back into your work schedule and your normal life.
Okay.
So you said you fell off the ladder, you hurt yourself, you went to the hospital, and they told you that you tore your right rotator cuff. Did you go home after that?
Yeah, I went home, and my wife didn't even know about it yet. I got married young.
Okay.
And so I told her, and then I called my boss at work and told him that I'm obviously not going to be able to probably work for the rest of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But that's I just went home and tried to recuperate, and that's about all I could do. They said at the hospital was just ice it and heat it.
Okay. And this is your main job, your main source of income?
Yeah. I only work it during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I work for public works, and I work at a grocery store. But since I go to college, I obviously can't do that full time, especially since I live 2 hours away at college. So right now, this is just my main source of income for paying bills at college, and just that's basically my only money.
Okay, so what it sounds like right now is you live with your wife, and you live about 2 hours away from your college. Where do you go?
I go to Misericordia in Dallas, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. I actually graduated from there.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. And so you live with your wife, and you live about 2 hours away from Misericordia University. Where do you live at Misericordia? Or do you commute every day?
I guess I could be considered a commuter, but I live off campus.
Mm-hmm.
And I live 7 or 8 minutes away.
Okay.
Not too bad.
Who else do you live with when you're off campus?
I have 4 other roommates, and they're all pretty cool, but I'm not sure. If I haven't told them about this yet, and but I'm not sure if they'll be helpful at all in this process at all, because it's obviously not going to be a quick recovery process.
Mm-hmm. You don't think that there'll be much help, much of a social support?
I have just my main roommate. I think he'll be the only one that really helps me at all. The other 3 they're kind of meatheads, and they don't really pay attention. So
okay, I got you. So your social supports right now, the big ones that seem to help you throughout life, it seems like one is your roommate who can help you at college, and when you're not at college, it's your wife.
Mm-hmm. And my parents also. They live right down the road from me, so
Okay.
they usually check in every once in a while.
Okay, so, which is very good. When you're going through the therapy process, you're probably going to want someone who is able to give you transportation to and from therapy. When you're at school, I'm sure you have to get back onto campus to go to classes, so having that friend there to help you, that's very important so that you can always have someone who's kind of got your back in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just hope that somebody's there for me. I know that's important. Um, and I have to drive to campus obviously, and it's all back roads. I mean, it's not like I live in the city, and I think it'll be difficult to be able to drive one-handed because I'm assuming my arm will be in a sling or something.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they won't let me move it very much. And
unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, no, but what? So you go to Misericordia. What program are you in?
I'm in the physical therapy program.
Oh, really? Okay, wow, that's a pretty heavy workload that you got there. What year are you?
I'm a junior now.
Junior. Okay, so you're a junior pre-PT going into the physical therapy program. That's still a really heavy workload. Has this injury affected your grades at all, or would you think it's too early to tell?
Not yet, but I know it will.
Mm.
This upcoming semester, I say the junior year is the hardest in the PT program, and I have a lot of classes that really involve me to be able to move around. I have 2 labs. I'm in an anatomy lab and a physics lab. Excuse me. And I know in both of them, I have to be able to move around, and I have to be paying attention at all times. And with the anatomy lab, we have practicals we have 3 or 4 of them a year. And that requires me to be able to walk around to different stations and look at different models and answer different questions all at different tables. And it'll be difficult because you can't set your pad down. You have to be holding it. And I don't know how I'm supposed to hold it and write at the same time, especially if I write right-handed. It's just going to be a difficult task.
Okay, so it seems like there's going to be a lot of complications from this injury that's going to affect you in a negative way at school and with your academics. You just mentioned right now that you're right-handed.
Correct.
And your right hand is going to be the one in the sling. So the plan is to keep you working with academics. We don't want to give that up. We don't want to take you out of school unless you absolutely have to. But until then, we want to see if you can work with this up until the surgery. And then after the surgery, we'll again work on increasing some muscle strength and so that you don't become as fatigued and as easily, or that you'll have the endurance that you need to be able to complete some of these practicals in some of these labs. But right now, it seems like you got to come up with some sort of solution, it seems like?
Correct.
Okay. So what do you think your options are?
I mean, obviously, I know that I could hold the pad over here or something and write it like this, but I also have to keep the cover page on top so nobody else can see my answers. And it's definitely going to be difficult to be writing down here. So I know that, other people have injured themselves, and I don't know how they go through it. I don't know did you take anatomy or anything when you were at Misericordia?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And in fact, when we were at Misericordia, some people weren't able to take the practicals at the same time that everybody else was, and so they would have a sort of makeup date. And during the makeup date, they would be asked the questions instead of going around. I'm not sure if that's how they still run things, but I think if you wanted to find that out, the best bet would be to talk to your lab instructor, let them know of your injury, let them know that, for the best benefit towards you, it would be better if you were to take the practical and the lab classes, in an environment, in a context in which you're able to do it. So if you can't do one of the lab classes, because your arm's in the sling or because you can't move your arm just as good yet, they should be able to make accommodations to that. I know that they've done that for students that were there, and I'm sure they could help you out with that. And for the practicals, you could take them on your own, actually. I know that back in the day, again, if someone were to miss it and they had to do a makeup, they would be able to sit down with at least one instructor or one of the teaching assistants, and they would have the room to themselves. So there's no need to keep the paper over your page, kind of privacy, and you'll be able to stand up so you could get some more movement out of your arm since it will be in the cast. And I think you could be able to work with that, and maybe if you just were to talk to some of your teachers and let them know of the barriers and roadblocks that you're going to be facing, I'm sure they're more than willing to help you. After all, teachers are here to help you learn.
Okay. That seems like a fair option. When did you graduate, Ms. Recorder? Can I ask that?
Yeah, I actually graduated in 2005.
Okay, so was Dr. Corpus there when you...
Actually, I do remember Dr. Corpus.
Because he's my lab advisor, and he's a pretty strict guy. I'm curious if he'll allow me to do that. So that's basically my biggest worry. For the physics lab, I don't worry about it at all because I've been around the physics professors already. But I've heard that Dr. Corpus can be kind of strict sometimes with that, and that's just my biggest worry in general.
Okay. No, absolutely. So I do remember Dr. Corpus being quite the stickler, and he doesn't like to deviate from his normal ways, and he's someone who you have to be there to take it. But he's not the only lab instructor. See, when I was there, we had Dr. Serino. I'm not sure if he's still there. Yeah. So what students would do was, if Corpus wasn't willing to sit down and do the practical with them, maybe if he just didn't have the time, they would be able to go to Dr. Serino or some of the other professors, and if they agreed to it, they would set up the teaching lab. They would set up the practical for them, and that's how they would be able to complete it, is by going to a different professor who was a little bit more flexible. But I'm sure if you still went to Corpus first, he would hear you out, and you could see how he would react from that.
Okay, so it's still the summer, so I think that maybe I should email Corpus and find out and tell him, what's going on, and ask him if there's any accommodations that he can make for me. And if not, I think I could probably, since it's still the summer, I think I can still probably change classes to Sereno or one of the other professors. I think there's 2 others or something.
Absolutely. You can adjust your classes to whenever you see fit. If you need a little extra time sleeping into the morning, there's night classes that were available when I was a student. I'm sure they still are now. Or if you wanted to get them out of the way so that you can maybe rest at night, or maybe do some of the occupational therapy at night, that's also a solution too.
Okay. And then I had another question.
Of course.
At the doctor's office, they told me that it's a better option to go PT with this injury. And my mom, she's an occupational therapist, and she said that I should go to an occupational therapist. I just wondered, if I'm not sure which one to go to.
Okay.
I'm going to meet with a physical therapist also, but I'm just kind of got, competing questions and, trying to figure out a course.
Okay.
And so could you just explain, what I actually do with you? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest questions I get from a lot of prospective students is, what is the difference between OT and PT? And it's actually a pretty big difference. With PTs, they're there to increase an individual's strength and muscle endurance, help them to not fatigue as easily, and to increase their cognition of the injury and the area that they're working with. Occupational therapists, on the other hand, they work with an individual on a specific type of task. There's these things called ADLs and IADLs. ADLs are activities of daily living, and IADLs are individual activities. Those would be like driving or filling out taxes. But the activities of daily living is showering, feeding yourself, grooming, and that's exactly what OTs help you with. So as opposed to me taking you to a gym and, giving you a bunch of weights to lift, I can instead give you activities that will help increase your muscle strength and endurance, but that are also purposeful. So I can give you activities that have to do with you reaching up above your head with a 20-pound weight, or maybe using the strength to pull yourself up onto a ladder. I can provide you that safe environment that's also purposeful. It's there to really help you increase your strength and muscle endurance, such as PT. OTs. We actually work in common a lot. I know in my office alone, we're outnumbered actually. There's 2 OTs and about 4 PTs. So what I'm able to do is provide you with that environment that's more meaningful and purposeful, and then PT could give you advice, give me advice on how to work with increasing that muscle strength and endurance. But I'm really just there to give you a path so that when you go back to working at school, that you'll be able to land on your feet better, as opposed to if you would do just you lift and do some of the exercises and then.
So basically, OT is a lot with PT, but it's also more life applicable. So like my daily wake up and my daily plan is I wake up and I shower, comb my hair, brush my teeth, get ready and stuff. And I guess I didn't even think that this injury would have any effect on that,
Yeah.
but I can see how showering and maybe brushing your teeth or shaving could definitely make my daily routine a little more hassle-some and a little more stressful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We're all there. We work as a team just to help you feel better.
Okay, so yeah, I think I'm still gonna meet with the physical therapist, but I think I'd rather definitely go with this route.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's good to have 2 opinions than 1.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Is there any other questions you had for today?
Not really. Just is there anything that I can do from now until surgery that will get me ready for it or anything like that?
Absolutely. From now until surgery, take it easy.
Okay.
If you said it's the summer right now, you can't really work, so I would just recommend taking it easy. If your wife can help you around the house, doing some tasks for you or helping you with some tasks, I think that's very good. And try to eat healthy. Try to get a little bit of exercise if you can. Not like an arm exercise, but say if you can find some sort of stationary bike, something to increase the strength in your legs, because you might be in a hospital bed for at least 2 or 3 days after the surgery.
Okay.
So just preparing yourselves to land back on your feet, as I said before.
Okay. That sounds like a good plan.
Is that everything, though?
Yeah, I think that's all the questions I have.
Well, thank you, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave.